get this party started.
Yep.
All right, with the presence of Chairman Rubin and Ms. Zucker, we have a quorum for the September 15th, 2016 meeting of the Housing Trust Fund Corporation. Is there a motion to call to order the September meeting of the members of the Housing Trust Fund Corporation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
As items are presented to the board throughout today's meeting, these motions and seconds will be used unless specific items call for a different vote or unless any board member or director wishes to record his or her vote differently. The first item of business is the approval of the minutes held on July 14th, meetings held on July 14th, 2016 and August 16th, 2016. If there are no comments, the motions will be deemed approved. Next is a resolution authorizing an award under the Community Development Block Grant Program for Economic Development in the City of Geneva to assist the Otago America. And Jason Purvis will present this.
Good morning. Again, this is Jason Purvis representing Chris Leo, who's at the Rural Housing Conference in Oswego. Good morning, Chairman Rubin, Member Marion Zucker. The City of Geneva has requested $350,000 in New York State CDBG Economic Development Funds to assist Otago America in opening a new kitchen facility. Otago is an online retailer and wholesaler of food and cooking items. Their website is a destination business for consumer e-commerce platform with a catalog of approximately 26 items available for purchase. Items are delivered to local pickup points and directly to homes. Their process is an innovative concept that fuses together traditional cooking methods and current day business to consumer platform, very similar to Blue Apron, if you've heard of that, where they deliver the meals. Otago currently serves Canada's major cities, including Quebec, Toronto, and Montreal, and they're looking to expand their services into the U.S. The Geneva facility will serve the Northeast and anywhere in the U.S. where they can receive shipments within 24 hours. As their volume increases, they anticipate being able to negotiate lower shipping costs with the shipping carriers to reach further than the Northeast. The CDBG funds will be used to purchase the required equipment and fund a portion of their working capital needs. The remainder will come from cash equity and a loan from the City of Geneva's revolving loan fund. The total project cost is $885,000, and they proposed 27 full-time equivalent jobs over the 2 years, with 17 or 62% benefiting low to moderate income persons. The CDBG funds will be used for the machinery, equipment, and working capital, and the cost per job will be just shy of $13,000 per job. And each dollar in CDBG funds will leverage $1.52 in private investment. We're requesting recommendation resolution to provide economic development funds to the City of Geneva. And I'd answer any questions if you have.
Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Next is a resolution authorizing an award under the Community Development Block Grant Program for Economic Development to Genesee County to assist 1366 Technologies. Again, Mr. Purvis.
Thank you. Genesee County has requested $1 million in New York State CDBG Economic Development Funds to assist 1366 Technologies to construct a 130,000 square foot manufacturing facility in the town of Alabama in Genesee County. Should be mentioned, this project was part of a multi-agency incentive offer to attract the businesses to New York. 1366, which is headquartered in Bedford, Massachusetts, is proposing to construct and equip the facility in Western New York, in the Western New York Science and Technology Advanced Manufacturing Park, or STAMP, at an estimated cost of over $100 million. 1366 would become the first tenant of STAMP and would produce standard multi-crystalline silicone wafers for solar cells. Their proprietary manufacturing process will dramatically reduce the cost level of energy and solar power as they use less waste and less silicone. The proposed total project cost of $129 million is proposing to create 150 full-time jobs over 2 years with 100 or 67% to benefit low to moderate income persons. All of the CDBG funds are being used for property acquisition in the STAMP park, and the cost per job is very reasonable at $6,667 per job. And each dollar of CDBG funds invested will leverage $128 in private investment. We're requesting a recommendation and resolution to provide CDBG economic development funds to Genesee County for 1366 Technologies. Questions?
That's Frank.
Great.
Okay, then assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution authorizing an award under the Community Development Block Grant Program for Economic Development to the town of Yates to assist Niagara Food Specialties. Mr. Purvis.
Thank you. The town of Yates is requesting $266,000 in CDBG economic development funds to assist Niagara Food Specialties to operate out of a 51,000 square foot vacant facility owned by the company's principal in Lindenville, New York, which is in Yates in Orleans County. Niagara Food Specialties was incorporated in 2001 and is a food processor, distributor, and wholesaler specializing in the production of specialty and artisan meats and sausages. Company has established itself as a loyal food service customer base and within the growing segment of gourmet retailers, particularly those looking to further differentiate by selling natural and organic foods. The business has identified potential in the retail and food service industry in both Canada and the U.S., and moving to a facility will allow Niagara Food Specialties to meet the demand for its product with its existing client base, enter new markets, and increase production volume to become approved in both by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency and the USDA. The project consists of construction and renovation to the current vacant facility, as well as the purchase of machinery and equipment and covering some of the working capital needs. The vacant building will be reformatted to fit their needs, as well as create a viable business that puts it on the tax rolls in the town and the county. The total project cost is approximately $3.6 million and proposing to create 19 full-time equivalent jobs, with 13 or 68% to benefit low to moderate income persons. The CDBG funds will be used towards the purchase of machinery and equipment at a $14,000 cost per job. Each dollar in CDBG funds provided will leverage $12.50 in private investment, and we're requesting a recommendation and resolution to provide economic development funds to the town of Yates.
Any questions? Then assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Next is a resolution authorizing an award under the New York Main Street Program for technical assistance to the town of Eden. Mr. Purvis.
Thank you. The town of Eden in Erie County has requested a $20,000 New York Main Street Technical Assistance Grant to complete a study of its Four Corners Commercial District. The Main Street funds will fund building condition reports that are expected to identify potential uses and design concepts for several key commercial properties in the town. The town of Eden is contributing the required match of 5%. It's important. The Main Street Technical Assistance Program was developed in 2013 to reinvest recaptured Main Street funds and to get communities ready for the CFA funding for the Main Street program. This is the first Main Street Technical Assistance open round project that we've had, and we're excited that they're starting to roll in under the Main Street program. We're requesting a recommendation resolution to award $20,000 of Main Street grant and Main Street funds to the town of Eden.
Great. Any questions? No. Then assuming the first and second previously entered all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motions are carried and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution authorizing an award under the Low Income Housing Trust Fund Program for the Multifamily Preservation Program Initiative for HK BBA Apartments. Mr. Garwood.
Good morning. This is a resolution asking for $4.05 million of multifamily preservation program funds for the HKBB apartments in Watertown. HFA recently awarded the project tax credits and tax exempt bonds. It's a preservation deal in the city of Watertown that I explained to you just earlier today. If you have any questions about this, it was scored through our open window RFP.
There
Very good
being
discussion.
There being no questions, assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motions are carried and the resolution adopted. Next is a resolution authorizing awards under the Public Housing Modernization Program. Mr. D'Amico.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is the second set of recommendations for the $6 million that was allotted to the Public Housing Modernization Program this year. It ended up with two jobs. One is the beginning stages of a restructuring deal in Auburn Housing Authority, the genesis of which was it was going to be a straight modernization job last year, which we recommended there was not restructuring like the sister project. What happened was we started getting into, the first thing we do is asbestos testing. And they found that it was within the mastic, within the floors, within the sheetrock, throughout the entire job. Everybody took a step back. Enter the picture of 3D development. We had just finished successfully Brogan Manor. And given the fact that Malone Village is at pretty much 100% occupancy and is very vital, we started entertaining a tax credit deal restructuring this job. And eventually what happened was they were negotiating with HFA bonds. They ended up, because of basically the math and the extent, of going to the 9% deal. This will most likely be, this $3.25 million will be roughly the first of 3 installments over this 2.5-year project. The second item is a small housing authority around White Plains who had overall exterior repairs, HVAC work, a variety of things, and bids came in higher, which we're not all that surprised with, but the local municipality did a real number on, they sort of changed, the engineers, we didn't know about it, they changed what they wanted in the state code for underground plumbing work. And it ended up in almost $250,000 additional to the project. There was no way around it. We negotiated with them, but it is what it is. Fortunately, Rome Housing Authority, which was recently completed as a restructuring job, had a number of outstanding funds. As a matter of fact, most of the bulk of it, oddly enough, was from drug elimination money. The reason why it was unspent, and they were notified, we discussed it, we're taking it back, was that the Rome Housing Authority was transformative enough in the neighborhood, they actually didn't need it. They actually, and they said, we don't need this money. It's a different, much more secure project than it was before. We're grabbing it, using those funds to put to Greenwood.
Question?
They both look great. Thank you.
And assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motions are carried and the resolution's adopted. Next is a resolution authorizing an award under the Preservation Initiative Program for Seneca Street. Marilyn Fleischerman.
Good morning. The proposal before you today is requesting an increase in funds to an award previously approved by the Housing Trust Fund Board. The project is Seneca Street Station, which contains 26 affordable residential units and 6 commercial units. On August of 2015, Seneca Street was awarded $2,372,361 in Preservation Initiative Program funds to address a comprehensive rehabilitation. Subsequent to the award, previously unidentified environmental, SHPO, and construction items delayed implementation of the award until the issues could be resolved, since they would impact costs by an unknown amount. The additional work items include SHPO windows supplied and installed, thermal spray foam, additional fire alarm wiring, and asbestos containment in basement floor. Soft cost increases include increases in general requirements and insurance, surveys, asbestos lead-based paint testing, and architectural and engineering fees. The A&E Bureau has reviewed the revised scope of work for the reference items and has determined that the proposed work is necessary to protect and preserve the long-term habitability of the project. The requested increase is also acceptable to the underwriting unit. It is therefore requested that the board approve additional funds in the amount of $370,644 and I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Any questions?
Nope, glad we're doing this.
Then assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Next is a resolution authorizing an award under the Medicaid Redesign Team Program for 220 Hull Street. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Good morning, Chairman Rubin, Member Zucker. Presented for your consideration is the first of two resolutions reauthorizing awards to unified funding projects that were awarded in May of 2015. This first resolution reauthorizes an MRT award to Housing Works for 220 Hull Street, the new construction of a 28-unit building that will provide supportive housing to 28 individuals at risk of homelessness and living with AIDS. You may recall this project since the HDFC board provided a 30-day reauthorization of this project in July of this year. Unfortunately, subsequent to that reauthorization, the awardee failed to secure NEPA clearance for the HUD Continuum of Care Award. They have now secured that clearance, and the expectation is this project will be moving to a construction financing closing in the next 15 to 30 days. As such, we are recommending today a 30-day reauthorization MRT award. It is actually critical that the awardee start construction in this time frame, as the general contractor has indicated that they will walk from this job if they do not get underway shortly. So unless there are any questions, we would recommend the approval of this further reauthorization of this award.
Sean, I do have a question. Sean?
Yep.
Would you specifically only want 30 days, or would you prefer a 60-day reauthorization in case anything slips?
The second of the two resolutions, we'll talk about that. I'm going to actually propose a longer reauthorization so that we're not back in front of you on the next project. But for this project, given that the general contractor has made such a strong indication regarding what they will do if this project doesn't get started, we feel that a 30-day reauthorization is needed to keep this group focused. If this GC walks, this deal falls apart completely. In this resolution, I would say that 30 days is warranted and desirable.
Okay. All right.
Right. Then assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution reauthorizing an award under the Low Income Housing Trust Fund Program for Sibley redevelopment, Phase 1. I'll just note for the record that an updated memo has been provided to the board and will be included in the packet. And Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you. This is the second reauthorization I mentioned. On June 22nd, the HDFC board approved a 60-day reauthorization of the HTF award for the Sibley project. It's a very significant project in downtown Rochester. Subsequent to the board's reauthorization, the project sponsor failed to take timely actions to secure underwriting and design approvals needed to proceed to construction financing closing. In addition, in the past week, the Community Preservation Corporation has disclosed to the agency that they are not in position to move forward with a commitment on their permanent financing to the project due to ongoing negotiations with the Common Retirement Fund over the form of the buy-sell agreement that will be used between CPC and the Retirement Fund. We have been assured that a resolution of the remaining issues is imminent. However, at this time, there is no guarantee when those negotiations will be concluded. As such, we had been contemplating a 45-day reauthorization for this project. At this point, the only remaining issue standing between this project going to a construction closing is the CPC Common Retirement Fund negotiation. So given the uncertainty of that negotiation, we would propose a 90-day extension of this authorization. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them at this time.
Okay, there need be no questions, assuming the first and second previously entered. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution as amended is adopted. Next is a resolution approving the documentation and classification of the environmental impact of 18 Lander Street and HKBBE Apartments. Ms. Pittsburgh.
Good morning, everyone. This morning I have two projects that I'm recommending for an unlisted negative declaration. The first is a New York Main Street project. It is at 18 Lander Street in the city of Newburgh. It is part of the Newburgh Land Bank. It is a conversion of a former auto body into a single-family home. And we have done full environmental due diligence of the site to ensure that there's no remaining contamination from the auto body to make sure it will be safe for a residential occupancy. The second project has been presented already this morning for an award. It's the Neighbors of Watertown project at the Brighton EMSOL building. We did a joint HFA review on this project. It's the rehabilitation of the 7 upper floors and the creation and rehabilitation of 22,000 square feet of commercial space in the former Brighton EMSOL department store to create 42 units of residential apartments also. At this time, I recommend both projects for an unlisted negative declaration, and I'm happy to take any questions.
No questions.
And assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted. Next is an item of new business, a resolution approving funding increase for a small project affordable rental construction program. Mr. Garwood.
Hi, as you know, we began a partnership a couple years ago with the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery to develop multifamily housing in areas impacted by the storms. A portion of those funds, $20 million, was used to create a new program called Spark to develop housing in storm-impacted communities of small sizes, between 8 and 20 units. The program has successfully got off the ground and has substantial demand. We have been working with CPC in administering that program, and they are currently looking at 9 projects that exceed the amount of funding. GOSER has been a fantastic partner and has identified $10 million of additional funds, and we're asking you to increase the current contract amount from $20 million to $30 million. I'll note a couple things, is that the maximum amount of $1 million of administrative fees from CPC will not be increased, even though they'll be able to finance additional projects, so we're pleased with that. We do anticipate the first 2 projects closing in the next couple months, and that all the funds will be committed by March 2017.
Any questions?
No questions.
And assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. The remaining items are informational items and no action by the board is necessary, but the information is contained in your packet. A review of appointed officers. Number 13, a review of authorized contracts under the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery. Number 14, a review of all secret type item 2 actions. Number 15, a review of secret concur summaries. Number 16, a review of secret determinations for projects under the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery. And number 17, a review of quarterly report on the status of multifamily projects. Are there any questions?
No.
Nope.
Thank you very much.
Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor of adjourning the meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The meeting is hereby adjourned.
Good job.